Welcome to the latest episode of the Forecasted Five. I'm your host, Seth Katz. Joining us today is Trever Acers. Trever is the founder and managing director of Objective Investment Banking and Valuation. Recognized as a CEO visionary by the LA Times, Trever brings over 20 years of investment banking, acquisitions, and strategic advisory experience focusing on middle market companies. A respected figure in Southern California's M&A market, Trever is actively involved with ACG, Tech San Diego, the Exit Planning Institute, and frequently speaks at industry events. Before founding Objective, he held leadership roles at TGG Capital, Oxford Investment Group, and EMC Corporation. Also, Trever earned his MBA from the UCLA Anderson School of Management.
Hoorah.
Welcome, welcome Trever, and appreciate
Yeah,
you being with us today.
thanks. I appreciate it. Sounds so formal when you say it that way.
Yeah,
But yeah, wonderful experience at Anderson. Really excited to be here.
excellent. Well, let's get started with some questions. The Objective team has collectively executed over 500 M&A advisory engagements and thousands of business evaluations since its founding in 2006. Can you explain to our viewers what separates Objective when comparing the organization to other investment firms?
Yeah, so it's interesting. In the last 15 years, we've seen a normalization of M&A, a significant increase in the number of M&A transactions, and really an increase in the sophistication, both in terms of buyers and probably more markedly by the sellers themselves, the CEOs, entrepreneurs, as they become really more thoughtful. There's been a huge increase in the number of advisors that are out there. And I'm a big believer that advisors can have a big impact. But with the things that really differentiate us from a large number of buyers is, first of all, our team's industry expertise. We believe that we're working on transactions of $25 to $250 million of value. You really need to know your industry sector you're working in. We have 5 industry practices, and within that, they really know specific areas within their own industry that they can talk deeply, and that really leads to exceptional relationships with different buyers, so that you know what's going to sell, you know what the valuations are, and you know how to maximize that price. So that industry expertise is one of those things. It's a requirement at this stage. The second thing that really differentiates us is price. Not our price, but the price that our clients get for their businesses. It's interesting, our industry, because this M&A has become so normalized, everyone uses a standard process. And that standard process gets good, but standard results. And most of my clients want an exceptional outcome. So we do things, we have methodologies that we've designed over the last 20 years that are specifically designed to increase purchase price. And they're not illogical. They're not like wild, amazing, unbelievable thoughts that no one else has ever had. They're just things that you can do that we've proven over time that have the potential to significantly increase purchase price, but it requires a lot more of senior time. And most investment banks are structured for efficiency, and we're structured for client outcome. The third thing we do is we really are looking at optimizing that our clients' experience, their outcome. What I'm solving for is, you think about it, I know your industries, I know your buyer, I'm going to maximize your price, but in 2 to 3 years, when you check back in me, I want to be happy and fulfilled. I want to be thoughtful. I want to sell at the right time. So there's a lot of work in terms of working with entrepreneurs around sale timing analysis. What if we waited 12, 18, 24, 36 months from now? What does that do to your after-tax cash proceeds? We're thinking about other non-financial aspects of how do you want your employees to be treated? How do you want your customers to be treated? Ultimately, our clients, when you think about this, we have this 2 a.m. number. 2 years after the deal, 2 a.m., the client goes to the restroom, looks themselves in the mirror, and all I ask is for them to say, you know what? That was a really good decision. That was a good decision to sell my company. I'm really not fireworks, because that's unrepeatable, but really making thoughtful, purposeful decisions that bring fulfillment, the differentiator.
Extremely helpful, Trever.
Yeah.
As Objective serves a number of different industries, from manufacturing to life sciences to various aspects of tech, is there a specific industry that your firm works with, especially right here in Southern California, where you're seeing a significant amount of M&A activity?
Sure. I spent a lot of my time in the tech practice. I work on strategy across our practices, but specifically, I work in the industry in tech. I have a tech background. It's interesting. We saw degradation in M&A activity in the last 2 years in a number of different sectors. If you look at consumer, there's a lot fewer deals that got done in consumer in the last couple of years. Um, SaaS software has been incredibly strong in the last couple of years, and it's really a flight to safety. If you think about private equity investors who are looking to make thoughtful transactions that are going to be safe as consumer and other segments get degraded by some of the economic instability we've had in the last couple of years, subscription software becomes even more attractive. So you have this hyper focus of activity on this space. So we've seen increases in lower middle market M&A transactions, middle market transactions, and it's been a segment that has stayed really strong, even though some of the others have struggled.
Got it. If a business leader is looking to utilize the services of an M&A advisor, especially those who might be looking to sell their company, why is it important to seek out assistance from a firm like Objective?
Yeah, it's interesting. The value proposition of an advisor used to be, call it 20 years ago, hey, I know your buyer, you can't reach them. Today, with Google, LinkedIn, and the increase in sophistication of CEOs, they can talk to all their buyers. And with the normalization of M&A, you have this massive group of private equity and strategic acquirers that'll take anybody's call. They're so excited and focused on acquiring companies. So that value proposition is really diminished. It really comes back to, can you increase my purchase price? Why would I spend why would I take a couple percentage points and give them to this advisor? And the biggest factor is because that advisor should be able to impact your purchase price. They should be able to increase your purchase price. Oddly enough, about half the clients we work with today come to us already a buyer in hand. Hey, we got approached by so-and-so private equity firm. We really like them. They've given us an offer. What do you want? What should we do? Should we negotiate that offer? Should we talk to a couple more companies? Should we go run a full market process? What should we do? And I'm amazed at how often we get exceptionally good outcomes by working with that one that's called them. Maybe it's a strategic they've known for 10 years, and the ability to sort of use that pressure of, hey, if we don't get an exceptional price, we're either going to go to market or just keep operating. And there's that inferred competition. So really, that's what you're looking for, is when you're looking at an advisor, is if I'm going to hire an advisor, I want a 5 to 10x return on the money that I'm going to spend on them, and it's increasing purchase price. Yes. Do they increase the probability of transaction going through? Yes. Do they provide all the labor that my team would otherwise have to provide and keep me focused on my business so my business doesn't degrade during the transaction? Yes. A lot of helpful reasons why. Ultimately, it comes down to purchase price.
Excellent points. Since we have a number of Anderson students who want to move into a senior executive capacity and lead their very own firm as you are there helpful words of advice you could share with those watching?
One, don't wait. It seems, I think our society creates at sometimes a lot of fear around the idea of going out and jumping out of my job into a company. And especially some of those issues of, boy, I went from working at a company where everybody knew the name and it felt really safe to a place that now I'm on my own. I think that I would encourage entrepreneurs not to feel that fear, to just jump. That the only way you get comfortable with entrepreneurship and building a business is going out and doing it. And the first couple of years are pretty humbling. There's very few entrepreneurs, despite what our society said, there's very few entrepreneurs that have overnight success. It's usually 10 years in, and then it's overnight success. That's the guidance. Don't wait. Go do it now.
Our students will certainly benefit from hearing about that. If we look ahead over the next decade, what do you think the future of M&A activity will look like?
Yeah, so we're already seeing, I mean, we see the integration of AI. We use it on our team on a daily basis. I think we're going to continue to see greater and greater efficiencies in M&A. What I mean by that is, go back 25 years ago, when we talked about M&A transactions, they were things that were rarely talked about publicly. They happened very infrequently. It was an exceptional event. Today, M&A has become part of people's business plan. I'm going to grow organically, and I'm going to go buy, and here's how I'm going to go run this. So we would expect to see, when we see increased efficiencies in buyers, so sellers and buyers can connect much easier. I have private equity firms emailing my clients 7 times a day, trying to connect with them. So you can see that efficiency starting to create. We're going to see more market efficiency. We're going to see more and more platforms where we're seeing companies and saying, hey, if I want to find my buyer, great. I just put it on my platform and someone who's looking finds me and I've got this great fit. I think we're going to see efficiencies there. Um, that's the place that we're not going to see the change is we're still human. It's really interesting to see how much of M&A is not about tech. It's not about process. It's not about accounting. It ends up down to people and convincing them that if you sign this check, you're going to have this company and be able to easily accomplish synergy A, B, and C. And I don't think that human element is going to go away, but I think we're going to continue to see M&A become more and more efficient from a transactional perspective.
Thanks for sharing that. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thanks so much for being with us today, Trever.
Yeah, love it. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I had an exceptional experience at Anderson as a student there, and I'm so grateful.
So glad to hear. And thanks to all our viewers for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode of the Forecast in 5.
Take care.